Good evening, Californians. It's July 5th, 2022, and this is Season 2, Podcast number 17. We are Red Star Report. I'm Hal G. Lohr, and this is Voices for the California Nation. Well, we just survived the July 4th weekend as large numbers of Californians protested Red State America's hostile takeover of the USA by wearing black and refusing to display or honor the red, white, and blue in private or even public fireworks displays. If you did, welcome to the California independence movement. Because why on earth would any real Californian celebrate this shit show, right? American democracy was dead the moment the Republicans decided it was a good idea to rig the game and use the Supreme Court as the perfect and unquestionable weapon to march America into fascism. And as long as California stays like it is now, part of the United States, there's nothing we can legally or constitutionally do to stop them from dragging California kicking and screaming down with them. And there's nothing in the red state forced compliance and liberal tears narrative that shows this isn't the preferred reality that half of America has already abandoned democracy for. We never thought it could happen here. But even with the Democratic president and Democratic majorities in the House and Senate, California's progressive values have never seen a slow-moving sucker punch like this before. So how could any real Californian celebrate this America when the MAGA hat crowd have turned the stars and stripes, the bald eagle, and even the word patriotism into nothing but symbols of and expressions of conservatism and fascism? As a Californian, whether you fully realize it or not, you gotta feel it in your gut. It's a growing feeling of anger, shame, and division at what America now represents. Face facts. The fight for America's soul is over, and we as Californians lost. U.S. Christo-fascist conservatism subverted and then stole America. It has made the very idea of American freedom a joke, unless you're a bank or a corporation, a Bible-thumping Christian church, a gross polluter, or an assault rifle. Voting rights are trashed. Reasonable gun regulation is dead. Limitations on police brutality, done. Women's right to control her own body is gone for at least a generation, if not forever. And on Friday, that glowingly illegitimate Supreme Court gutted the EPA's mandate to fight climate change. There's a Chinese curse that goes, "May you live in interesting times." Well, for Californians, those times are here. And if you haven't noticed, the governors of Washington, Oregon, and California obviously have noticed it too. If you go by their recent statements, that is, of united defiance. Give this a listen.
Reproductive freedoms are under attack.
Red states and Republican-stacked courts have rolled back the rights of Americans.
Today, with the Supreme Court ruling to overturn Roe v. Wade, more than half the states in the United States ban abortion outright or severely restrict access to abortion services.
That's why California, Oregon, and Washington are building the West Coast offense to protect patients' access to reproductive care.
We're going to work with our legislators, with our providers, with our patient advocates.
We will continue to protect patients from any state who come to our states for abortion care.
Defend doctors, nurses, and medical professionals working to support patients seeking reproductive care in our states.
We're going to protect patient privacy.
We will resist intrusions by out-of-state prosecutors, law enforcement, or vigilantes trying to investigate patients receiving services in our states.
Stop misinformation.
And we're going to expand access to abortion services for the people in need.
We will not stand on the sidelines.
The West Coast United States is going to stand strong.
We'll fight like hell to protect your rights and your safety.
Before the last Civil War began, states in the South tried to use a political tactic called nullification. Nullification is when U.S. states decide they will no longer obey or enforce federal laws. For better or worse, it was the Confederate States' last gasp to avoid all-out secession and the end of the Union. California came close to this as a sanctuary state and is apparently now reaching that point on abortion rights. People say the road to fascism is lined with people saying you're overreacting. The California independence movement has been hearing this since 2015. Sometimes it sucks to be right. So tonight, on Red Star Report, we bring you abortion, nullification, and the growing possibility of civil war. This is Red Star Report. And this is Voices for the California Nation. First up, let's begin with our Red Star contributor, Matt Owen, as he gives us his perspective on current events from People's Park in Berkley, California. Take it away, Matt.
Hello everyone. Today the Red Star is rising over People's Park, Berkley, which was first liberated in the struggle to end the war in Vietnam. Yes, that many years ago. And they've been struggling to redefine it ever since. It's now a performance arts space, and there's a few people camped here. So, I'm coming to you about the effects that can be anticipated from the twin Supreme Court rulings defending so-called states' rights in abortion cases, but attacking them as far as carrying concealed weapons is concerned. The upshot is that a number of us are predicting the breakout of a shooting war, an out-and-out civil war between the two U.S. parties, the Republicans and the Democrats. And this is bad news for anybody to the left of them, because they will both be attacking anyone to the left of them, which in the case of the Republicans means anybody else, and in the case of the Democrats means us. Us meaning anybody to the left, in or out of the California independence movement. We can't outfight the two U.S. parties. We must outthink them. We must bring our fingers together into a fist. The left unity slate must include the California National Party. Everyone to the left of the Democrats must come together and make a construct struggle, fight for dual power to defend us, defend ourselves, defend the people, and ultimately replace the system that's now in place. My strategic thinking is that neither Washington, D.C. nor Sacramento is on our side. We must construct revolutionary foci in L.A. and here in the Bay Area. These would become, so to speak, the Moscow and St. Petersburg of the upcoming absolutely necessary revolution. So, coming to you from still liberated People's Park, Berkley. Viva Gran California Libre.
For those that don't know, my friend Matt Owen is one of the most tenacious voices in the California independence movement. So thank you, Matt, and hope to hear from you again really soon. For our next segment, Red Star Report presents an independent commentary from first-time Red Star contributor David Gregory of the California Freedom Coalition. Now hear this.
So I'm not going to get into the emotion or partisan aspect of the decision today on the overturning of Roe v. Wade. I might use a lot of legalese and stuff that I learned in the legal studies courses there at school. So sorry if I do that, but, you know, it needs to be done to kind of explain what's happening. The reasoning that Alito gave for overturning the right to abortion, which I keep saying right to abortion, it was never really a right to abortion. It was a right to choose. There's a big difference in those two. It doesn't say anywhere right to abortion in the Constitution. And that's what Alito said, was it's not mentioned. Abortion's not mentioned. See, these are pretty serious questions you need to entertain because of the decision today. And honestly, in the majority opinions that came out, which are just damn fucking frightening. So we have a right to privacy, which was established. Now, the right to privacy was established in these cases through something called a penumbra, if you know what that is. That's like, let's take the First Amendment, okay? You have the First Amendment, which is the right to free speech, you know, the right to assembly, the right, you know. And then you have the penumbra, which is all the rights that exist underneath it that aren't specified, they're implied. Okay, so it doesn't say in the First Amendment that you have the right to sell what you've written. But it's there. You can write something and sell it. You can write something and broadcast it. You can write something and publish it. You know, it doesn't say that, you know, in the First Amendment that you can disseminate all this stuff, or that, you know, it just says that you could say them and you can, you know, it's there to protect you in the media, but there's a lot of stuff that's covered that has actually been decided in courts that, yeah, there's a lot of rights underneath this First Amendment that aren't necessarily mentioned. So, you know, with the contraception issue and the right to privacy. So, you know, nowhere in the Constitution does it mention a right to privacy. It's an implicit right, or implied. Okay, so what that means is it's implied in several places. So, you know, you're protected from illegal search and seizure, and you're protected in your papers. That right there establishes there is some sort of expectation of privacy. The fact that a court can't, or the police can't just come and arrest you real quick, and they got to give you due process, and they got, you know, and you have a right to, like, not be searched and seized, and these are all aspects, you know, that fall under that. That's just been pulled out, you know, because these were established. So there's this age of viability. So the court in essence said, yes, a woman has the right to privacy, but the state has interest in preserving life. So there's this thing called strict scrutiny or rational basis scrutiny that the Supreme Court goes through when deciding a case, right? So if you're going to limit a privacy, there's certain criteria to get strict scrutiny or rational basis, yada, yada, yada. And that's how they will view the case and decide the case through those lenses. Under that, they have to establish a state interest, some sort of state interest in limiting your right in order to make that constitutional. In this case, eliminating the woman's right to privacy, or her right to choose what goes on with her own body, or to limit that, the state would have to have a pretty compelling, and the word is compelling, that's important, a very compelling reason to do that. So the state comes back with, you know, hey, we want to preserve life, not only from a moral aspect, but, you know, having more population generates more tax revenue, more population, more representation, yada, yada, yada. So, you know, the state has a very high interest mark in preserving life. That being said, there is a point when the state's interest is there. And then there's a point before that, they call that the age of viability, or the time of viability, where the state doesn't really have that much of an interest in the decision that the woman makes because the fetus has not developed. Now, another reasoning they're doing is saying that abortion isn't, in the norms and traditions of the United States. Well, this age of viability actually is, and it goes all the way back to the Puritans, where they used to have this thing called quickening, where you could terminate a pregnancy so long as it was before quickening, or before that moment of viability, when the fetus is so developed that it is now a person, or considered a person, and you can no longer abort it. This predates the United States. So there's logical gaps in the reasoning they use to establish these cases. And, these logical gaps are going to be head scratchers, but what they said, after that about, other cases, gay marriage, sodomy laws, contraception, they're talking about, banning sodomy again. Hey guys, that includes blowjobs. Congratulations. We have a country on the verge of civil war. We have inflation rising everywhere. We have oil shortages and food shortages. We have just crazy riots in the street through the summers of 2020, and we've had a global pandemic and a global recession. And here we are. And what are we doing? We're banning fucking blowjobs. And rubbers. Make America great again. But seriously, okay, so gay marriage, the thing is, and through the opinion, you don't just have to read the majority opinion to really pull this out, because it's mentioned specifically by Clarence Thomas that we should revisit these rights and overturn them. Okay, so it'd be like gay marriage. They're talking about overturning your right to contraception. They are talking about overturning laws that ban sodomy, or reinstituting laws that ban sodomy. That would, in essence, make it illegal to be gay. For all my gay friends out there, this will make it illegal to be gay. Your lifestyle will be criminalized in a lot of places. And driving across the country again, you will be legal in one place, like California, and you'll be illegal in another place for being yourself. So if you drive through Texas, or you drive through, and that's where the sodomy law got challenged in the first place, was Texas. But, you can go to prison. Meanwhile, they use the same reasoning for the gun rights, right? And they say that preservation of life and public safety is not enough reason to limit a right. So, where do we stand? Well, I'd like you guys to maybe study the government of Saudi Arabia, Iran, or maybe Afghanistan, to see where we're heading, because maybe more closely related to Saudi Arabia because we have more money. But but seriously, the question really becomes this: are you going to fight against this movement? If so, what are you willing to sacrifice? Honestly, my personal humble opinion is the decision on gun rights and the decision to expand gun rights in the United States was the biggest boon for you guys that you could possibly have in this, because you don't want to disarm yourselves before a potential civil war, which is what this country looks like it's on a hot track towards. Your daughters today officially have less rights than you had growing up. Many of your sons and daughters are on their way to losing their rights and their equal footing as a citizen in this country. The choice is yours. We've seen this movie before. What are you willing to sacrifice to fight against it?
Thank you, David. Smart people, fresh voices, and California values. All right. You've been waiting for it. It's time for Shankar Singam with Activism in Action. Tonight, Shankar goes back with more video with public commentary from Gavin Newsom. If you haven't heard this, you need to. Dude, hit me.
This is our country, folks. This is California.
Hello, Californios. Activism in action. Shankar Singam. How are you guys doing? It has been a hell of a couple of weeks, right? Hell of a couple of days, especially, right? Roe, gone, right? Big fucking deal, right? Guns have more rights than women do in the United States, but that's the country that you choose to be living in. At some point here, folks, I sense a tipping point when California is going to be tired of it, when this governor is tired of it, and we are going to move towards independence. I feel it in my bones. It's coming really quick here. It's about to happen because you had the governor with an abortion council set up a slew of legislation to combat this overturning of Roe versus Wade. And I'm just wondering if they're going to spend that much time on all this legislation for abortion. Are they going to spend all this time when they overturn gay marriage, when they overturn immigration laws, when they overturn birth control laws? I mean, at what point do we get tired of it and just say, you know what, fuck you, United States, we're out. You know, right now we're taking on the onslaught of abortion people wanting abortions to come to California. So what's the state expecting? Right now we're at 40,000 people getting an abortion annually every year. Okay, right? Annually, right? So we're expecting to be at 1.4 million, okay? We have 144 clinics, and new legislation expands those powers of abortions to hospitals and other medical providers so they can do it as well without fear or retribution of having a license or fines or anything like that. Those are the laws that are coming up, right? Are we going to do that much work for gay marriage? Are we going to do that much work for immigration? I mean, gee, or wouldn't it just be easier just to leave? Just to say kick rocks. Because if you're not pissed now, you'll be pissed later. Guaranteed. They're coming after you. Guaranteed. Governor Brown talked about it. Governor Newsom right now is doing something about it. When are you going to start acting like it? Let's get right into it. There's nothing that Congress can do right now to change the abortion laws because they're feckless swine, right? The right wing has overtaken the entire United States except for this state and Oregon and Washington. Staunch Republicans are now called rhinos if they don't toe the line. This is the country you live in. The Supreme Court is going to come after birth control next. They've already brought it up, which cases to look at. So no condoms, no birth control pills, no morning after pills, nothing. No birth control. They've legalized open carry in all 50 states, the Supreme Court. So now a gun has more rights than women do, right? They want to arm teachers. Teachers can't teach them about sex and how not to get pregnant to have an abortion, but they want them to arm them with guns. So they don't trust them about sex, to talk about sex, but they trust a teacher with a firearm, for crying out loud. This is the stupidity, the utter fucking stupidity of the United States. This is how fucking dumb they are. And the fucking left of the United States, feckless. Take control of your states. Lefties. It's embarrassing. You're an embarrassment to all leftists. So the slew of laws that are coming up here in Cali. You don't have to be a citizen to get a free abortion in California. You don't have to be a resident of the state of California to get a free abortion from California. Now, that one I disagree on. I feel that if you come here from another state, especially a red state, who did you fucking vote for and what are you registered as? That's got to be mandatory, because you know a damn well a Republican will never say, oh, I'm a Democrat just to get an abortion, because they're too fucking proud of that shit. But if they vote for Trump, they're a registered Republican, you pay. This is all your motherfucking fault. You fucking pay. That's what I think. But no, No, we're all nice liberals here in California. It's free for them too. Okay, it's free for them too. Our taxpayers' money, our money, paying for their abortion. We're going to fly them from their fucking red state, which they don't know how to maintain. Fly them here, give them the abortion, and care for them, and then fly them back to the shithole state that they're from, and let them keep doing nothing about their rights. As we're sitting here punching above our belt, punching above our weight, again, wiping their noses again, wiping their asses again, on states that don't like us, that hate us, hate what we stand for. I'm not just fucking making this up. California, Oregon, and Washington have signed a multi-state agreement to protect reproductive rights. They're taking on a brunt of it too, Oregon and Washington. Not as much as California, but at least they're on the right path. Consequently, we have 144 clinics that we set up recently, right? Right now, up to 144 now. Consequently, the right wing has been busy little bees setting up fake women health centers. So when you Google up abortion, these centers come up, and they're actually anti-abortion clinics. There's 179 of them. So they have more anti-abortion clinics in California than they do abortion clinics, and they've taken control of the web where their shit pops up before anything else. This is the right wing. This is how they've learned to do. It took them 50 years to learn this shit. 50 years to start punching up. Let's just hear the governor real quick on some of this legislation here and how he's pissed off, because he is pissed off. I would be pissed off too. You should be pissed off too. Here's Governor Newsom.
Well, let me thank.
And I agree with him almost on everything except a couple of things.
And,
but
and
let's
thank you
hear
for
him out real quick.
Your expressions that I think truly recognize the enormity of this moment. And in many ways, this has been said by a number of you. It's difficult to pick up on where you left off. And I want to just, though, express that while I'm, don't take this the wrong way, I'm sorry as well. I'm a little less sorry than I am pissed. A little less sorry than I am resolved and angry to do more and to do better. At the same time, expression of appreciation. I'm grateful I'm here in California. I'm grateful I'm the governor of California. I'm grateful I represent.
You should fucking be grateful you live in this state
that's fighting for freedom, fighting for reproductive rights, a state that has long stood tall. And I'm sorry that more people do not have those protections today. I am, though, very mindful that California can play an outsized role at this moment. I'm mindful of the fact that we punch above our weight. I'm mindful that this state is the largest and most diverse state in the world's most diverse democracy. I'm mindful of our history, our proud past, where we have led. We've said often, we don't imitate. We're a model in many respects to others. Future, in many ways,
we fucking lead.
As it relates to the rights movements, happens here
That's
first
right.
in the state of California. What we're doubling down on and have been over the course of the last few years, not just the last few weeks, not just the last few months in anticipation of this decision, is a recognition we did need to do more. We need to step up. We didn't want to rest on our laurels. We didn't want to rest on our progress. We have been leaning in, and I couldn't be more proud about the legislative package that not only has been introduced and is being advanced this year, but the legislative packages that we've advanced that have been successful over the course of the last many, many years in this state. There's simply no other state in the United States of America doing more to protect those that are the most vulnerable, not only to this decision, but the vagaries of life.
So, dude, yeah, you're proud of it, dude. But what about when they come after you for gay marriage, man? Are we ready? Birth control, are we ready? Immigration, are we ready?
And I'm proud of that. And I want folks to know all around the rest of the country and many parts of the globe that I hope we're your antidote to your fear, to your anxiety, perhaps to the cynicism that many of you are feeling about the fate and future of not only our state, but the world and country, the world we're living in. This is a profound and consequential moment, but it stacks on so many profound and consequential moments. Just 24 hours ago, many of us were together and others lamenting about a jaw-dropping decision where states' rights wasn't afforded on the issue of the Second Amendment, where we quite literally were debating about the meritorious nature of rules and regulations around crossbows and dirks and landscapes, where we were reflecting on historical records, not necessarily legal precedent, where we were reflecting on this notion of fundamental rights can be stripped. And now today we're talking about states' rights. The hypocrisy so extraordinary, so profound, that it was deeply pronounced in the dissent.
He needs to hit it home a little bit harder than this.
They didn't take any.
This part right here is what he should have stuck to.
They
this rhetoric
pushed
right
back
here.
aggressively in the
Because
dissent, making the case that was
I don't think
made
most people
a moment
understand
ago.
it
It's
yet.
not an assertion. In fact, it was said, as the AG said, with certainty. This is certain, the dissent said, comma,
That's
that
right.
women are not equal.
So here,
That's a remarkable statement from members of the United States Supreme Court. Women are not equal. Women are not free. Women are treated differently than men, period, full stop.
yeah,
That's
he's
fact.
talking about
That's
the
not
red states.
fiction.
He's talking about the
That's not
Republicans and the
hyperbole.
GOP and
That's
what
not
they
a
care
political
about.
statement.
And he's spot on.
That's a
this.
fact. And for whatever reason, we're here with a Supreme Court that believes women should not be treated equally. They should not be free. And we have men, dominantly men in all these positions of power and influence, that believe in government mandates, believe in government births. I don't believe in life, because if they believed in life, they would be doing all the things to support those after they're born. We know that. That's legendary. Their absolute indifference to life. They are pro-conception to birth, period, full stop. That's all this is about. If you think it's not, just consider in the dissent itself, they talked about a number of states, Mississippi being one of them, that has no interest in supporting expansion of Medicaid to extend the opportunities to protect those that are born for at least 1 year with critical medical support in that first year of life. They're not interested in life. That's why they cut programs on child care and prenatal programs and cut preschool programs. They're not interested in family planning. They cut family planning programs and sex education. Don't even get me started with sex education. Can't say that word in many states. Spare me this notion of freedom, and spare me, or rather rights, and yes, freedom. Freedom? Really?
Yeah,
That
he's glad we're in
13-year-old
California.
That's raped? Or God
You should be
forbid,
glad we're in
member of
California.
Family?
That shit will never happen here.
Incest? And has to bear
One more.
her sibling? Has the freedom of what? God never wanted the races to mix.
Talking about interracial marriage, and they're going to overturn interracial
My
marriage
lifetime.
next.
That was interracial marriage, which, according to Justice Thomas, should be considered. Not surprising, because you have a U.S. Senator from Indiana who said the same thing. They're coming after you next.
That's
Period.
right.
Full stop. This is not just about women. This is not just about choice. This is not just about reproductive freedom. They're coming after you next. It's a serious moment in American history. This great divergence now. Red states versus blue states. But in the spirit that I think defines the sentiment of many of us, and certainly the sentiment of those that spoke, we are many parts but one body. And when one part suffers, we all suffer. And so our empathy needs to be matched with our care and compassion.
This is where I disagree with him.
To help support.
If you've got these people coming here from out of state who hate us, who've talked shit on us, who voted for Donald Trump, who are Republican all the way, if they're coming over here to get an abortion, you need to charge them some fucking money. These laws that pass where it's free for everyone, including if you're not a citizen, not a resident of the state, protecting medical workers, that's great. I'll fine and dandy. But if you're a registered Republican, fuck you. You pay. That's what I say.
Those Americans that are under real threat and autocracy, and I would argue tyranny, from those that wish to incarcerate them, to put them in jail, to put those family members that seek to help a young girl who was raped get their reproductive rights advanced outside that state, to civilly fine them or criminalize that action in the first place. Doctors themselves. That's what we're up against. Across the spectrum. Banning books. Banning what you can say. Taking tax breaks if they don't like what your position is in terms of your health care policies in a private company. What they're going to do to the environment next week from the Supreme Court's perspective. States' rights, no, but just only for this, but not guns. Profound moment. This is what Mitch McConnell wanted. This is what Donald Trump pursued. And this is the world we're currently living in. But here's, and I'll close on this, and forgive me for...
Dude, so look at this. What the law that he's about to pass means that if you're a medical professional and you go out of state and you help someone get an abortion, you come back, there won't be any repercussions from the state of California. They will protect your credentials, protect your license. You can still practice medicine here in California, but if the rest of the United States comes after you for that and takes away all your credentials as a doctor, oh well, they're going to do that. So what what's essentially happening is, fuck you, American Medical Association. Hello, California Medical Association. Meaning we're setting the groundwork here for sovereignty. That the more right-wing that they move and the more laws that they pass through the Supreme Court or however, the more established California will be as a sovereign nation when we do take that final step. So let them go ahead. They're just begging for us to be sovereign.
Being circuitous in my remarks, but I think this moment just punctuates what's really going on in this country and how they're just winding up, and the significance of this moment.
They're just winding up, folks.
But
they're coming after you.
Where my optimism lies. Future is not something to experience, it's something to manifest.
That's right,
it's
man.
Decisions, not conditions, that determine our fate and future.
Listen to him hint at sovereignty.
To turn this around. We have the ability to not allow a minority leader in the House of Representatives to become a majority leader, who said today that he would, if he were the Speaker of the House of Representatives, move to codify nationally parts of this decision, 15 weeks, making it illegal all across the United States. We have the ability to stop that.
No, we don't, and he knows it.
By taking action. By waking up and disabusing ourselves that we can stand on the sidelines at this moment and not participate. This is not about agitation. This is about participation. This is about taking steps to move in a new direction by getting rid of those in power.
Listen to his words very carefully, man. He's hinting at sovereignty.
Mandate women and girls' fates and futures. We have that capacity.
We have the capacity to get rid of those individuals. We have the capacity to stop them from...
This decision wakes everybody up.
Yeah, we do, by having our own nation.
And distills the essence of what this moment means, a moment that none of us thought we would experience. And when Jody did send me that text, we both
Governor
said,
Brown
we knew it was
said
coming,
it.
But
Governor Newsom
we both filled in the
is
blanks
doing something about it.
Just hit us in the gut.
When are you,
core,
Californians,
that momentary
going to
pause
act on
we all
it?
had that this is not really
You need to start
happening,
acting.
Knowing full
like we're
well
a country of our
that
own.
it was going to happen. And here we are.
Newsom's starting to
as
do
Californians
it.
Prepare.
We need to follow.
Not only for.
We'll have no choice soon but to. That's all I got. Hal, back to you, man.
Thank you, Shankar. Not sure what I can add to that, but really keen to find out. Let's go to talking points. For tonight on Talking Points, I think we're going to stay in the general theme of tonight's 4th of July weekend, What the Fuck America podcast, with a talking point that goes, Californians really need to stop pretending America can be fixed. Because we've all seen a lot of California activist communities organizing marches and rallies so people can show their anger about the Supreme Court decision of overturning Roe v. Wade. And we've also seen those California activist communities competing with other activist groups, organizing marches and rallies to show their anger over the government striking down concealed carry regulations. And by the way, both of those California activist communities are competing with other California activist communities protesting the treatment of immigrants, the resurgence of federal police brutality protections, voting rights restrictions, and climate change, or the gutting of the Environmental Protection Agency's power. All of this made completely ridiculous by the predictable rallying cry of the Democratic Party faithful in Washington, D.C. that goes, "We're going to fight this and send us money." Is anyone else just plain old-fashioned tired of this bullshit already? Isn't it time you asked yourself why any Californian would put any confidence in the federal government at all? After 50 years of fighting these same old fights, it's got to become pretty clear that Democrats can't and Republicans won't protect our California progressive values. As Californians, we kind of have to ask, why can't the good guys just win and be done with it? And what good is staying in the United States anyway if that's not true? So yeah, Californians really need to stop pretending that America can be fixed. Because if protests, marches, rallies, and Democratic campaign contributions could fix America, wouldn't they have done it already? Here's a hint. Hold rallies, march in the streets, vote regularly, write your congressman, and remember to include a check. And none of that guarantees they care. Because at 2,500 miles away, 40 million Californians have, and I guess always will be ignored, in the United States that almost universally hates California, right? Californians really need to stop pretending America can be fixed. I mean, one very important thing that Californians can't seem to bring themselves to realize is that half of the United States, especially those people in the red states, are absolutely happy with these Supreme Court decisions. So how can America be fixed when that shit is what half the country actually wants? And they've been working to put the pieces in place to screw us on this for years. Does any Californian listening to the sound of my voice not understand that these ultra-conservative decisions being made by just 6 non-Californian right-wing Supreme Court justices are setting America on a fascist course that will take at least a generation to correct? I'm sorry to break it to you, but the California independence movement has been warning you about this for the last 6 years. And now it's here. A cold civil war. A cultural civil war. Civil War 2.0, at least. Where the Supreme Court can't be stopped, and Republican state legislators are now fully entitled to tear down California progressive values brick by brick, and then move their fascist agenda to the federal level within the next few election cycles at their convenience. They've already said this is the plan, and with the Supreme Court's blessing, they've already rigged the elections to do it. So, get it straight. Californians really need to stop pretending America can be fixed. This is Talking Points. That's Red Star Report for the week of 7/5/22. Please check out our website at www.redstarreport.com. Subscribe to our Red Star Report YouTube channel. And go to our Red Star Report Facebook page, Twitter, and Instagram. Give us a like. Give us a follow. Just check us out. Because, really, if you want a real California Independence Movement media group, it's all about the algorithms. Thank you to you and all our Red Star Rebels for watching. We are Red Star Report.